Well, look who's sitting out front of the garage once again. Blondie needs more parts, naturally. Today, our task is to put 2 wheel bearings in the old girl. So I've already done the front wheel bearings. They started kind of getting noisy 1,000 miles after we got it running again. So when I did all that front end work, like the brakes and the struts and stuff, over the winter, I threw new front bearings in that took care of that. No sooner than I do that, that one is getting really loud. So we're gonna do both rear bearings. And what we got here are 2 Moog bearings. Not only are they Moog bearings, they are good Moog bearings, as you can see by the country of origin. Why are they good Moog bearings? Because these 2 are probably 15 years old. You know why they're 15 years old? Because I ordered these bad boys on Rock Auto Closeout. Now you hear horror stories about Rock Auto. I don't know where these people get these stories from. The thing about Rock Auto is, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're ordering, and you got to know how to double check and make sure the parts list is right or whatever. Because if they make mistakes, it's not perfect. They're the #1 source of closeout and overstock auto parts. Things happen. And then obviously you've got bad apples that return stuff, knowingly defrauding the company and people who buy those parts. So in this case, what a closeout usually is it's a really old stock, been on the shelf for a long time. They just need to get it gone. Now in the case of auto parts, older is better because all the new stuff is junk. Yeah, 2011 Federal Mogul. So there you go right there. 15 years old. And I've had these both open, and they look good. This one didn't have a bag on it. So it's probably open box return, which is fine because the bearing itself feels great. It looks fine. One of these, this one's got a bag in it yet. Looks good. No big deal there. You just inspect the parts. You can return stuff. It's not hard. Obviously, the people can return junk, and they get away with it, so you can return a good part. It's not a big deal. I am a huge pro Rock Auto person. I thoroughly think they are the best as far as old parts goes. So, and that's why right there I get the older stuff. And it's cheap. It's closeout. So, let's get this van up in the air. Let's get these tires off. Maybe before we get the tires off, we'll do a shake, see if we can feel the play. I got a feeling I would be able to feel it. And then we'll go ahead, we'll get these bearings swapped out. It might be a pain because it's a rust bucket, rust belt van, and it's a wheel hub, so they might fight us coming off, they might not. For here, let's just get our hands dirty. Let's get into it and let's see how that goes. Well, let's see if I can feel any play. Can't feel any play, but I can hear that. Holy crap. That sounds good, don't it? Yeah, she's a good one right there. A little lumpy tire, not bad, but... Midas really frickin' put those on tight. They weren't coming off, so that's a good thing maybe. I don't know. Now, I'm gonna say something here. Midas said they had a lug that was really stuck on this side, and then they charged me to replace the stud and the lug. And I don't think they did that. If you look there, those all look old, don't they? I think I got. But whatever. It wasn't outrageously expensive. Yeah, this drum never came off, I don't think. So, yeah. You can hear that wheel bearing, though. That's bad. Yeah, she's mint. No big play in it yet, but it's not good. Alright, I got all 4 bolts out. There's always got to be one that fights you, though. And in our case, the one that fought us right here is the one that goes in the worst to get at spot. So 3 of the 4, you can use a regular old ratchet 18mm socket, but the one down there in the bottom corner where the ABS sensor is, well, you got to get the ABS sensor out. Lucky that happened. And then 2, because of the way that it is, your wrench hits the right here. So you have to get special ones that you can get access to. So what I've got is this shallow 18mm socket that you can put a 3/4 wrench on. And then I had a 3/4 flex with another wrench to kind of extend it. And that allowed me to get it out. Obviously it fought me because the threads on this are kind of messed up because, you know, rust. But hopefully a few whacks on this hub here and the whole thing falls out. It should go around the brakes. I might have to get a screwdriver on the parking brake arm and just kind of push it, but it should be fine. So I'm going to try that and just see if it just falls out. Otherwise we're going to start banging on it from the backside. Well, we got it off. We did have to disassemble the brakes, and then the backing plate stuck to the hub naturally, so that's fun. Good thing we got a brand new line that's got some flex in it, so it's not a big deal. Got it off, and that's about all there is to that. I did pull the wheel studs out. If you always do this when you throw away bearings, you'll never have to buy wheel studs in your entire life, which is nice. Yeah, it's out. So what we are going to do is I'm going to get a drill brush and I'm going to clean up that inner hub surface, kind of clean this up a little bit. I'll pull this kind of up out of the way a little bit, and then we'll anti-seize all those surfaces, slot the new bearing in, bolt it up, put it back together, put the brakes on, and that's all there is to that. It's not too bad. The worst part is dealing with that, all that rust jacking that holds the hub assembly to the axle. It requires lots of sledgehammer use. So I think before we do some cleanup here, I'm going to kind of do this assembly line style. I'm going to go do the same thing on that side, and then we'll kind of come back to here, clean this up, clean that side up, put it back together. Let's just get her done. Alright, driver's side's fully apart. That bearing wasn't in much better shape than the other side. It was a little quieter, but you can feel it's crunchy. So I guess just 9-10 years of these bearings sitting in that moist, damp, whatever, swampy environment just kind of cooked them, you know. That's not unexpected. Anyway, it all came apart okay for what it was. Not too bad. Took me 28 minutes on this side, I think just a hair longer on the other side, so that's not terrible. You know, half hour aside, so 1 hour disassembly, another hour reassembly, and we should be ready to roll. Alright, got the axle hubs all cleaned up. Got an anti-seize applied over every little surface there to prevent what just happened in case we have to do this again. So, as you can see, all nice and clean. Should go together just fine. Not too shabby. we got wheel hubs on both sides. So, not too shabby. Alright, we got both tires back on the ground. Check both brakes, they do work. This one could probably use a little tighten, but the brake worked fine, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. Anyway, we're going to take it for a test drive. We're going to make sure that wheel bearing noise is gone and it drives alright, huh? Oh. Alright. What are we sitting at? 118 something. 352. Alright, I'll see you guys out on the highway. Alright, here goes nothing. This should be pretty obvious. If there's any noise in it, it's already a 45. Oh, I can hear myself think. Yeah, those were bad. 55, it's dead silent. Oh yeah, this is nice. Yeah, those were really bad. Yeah, I couldn't hear nothing. Now I can hear myself think. That's crazy. Alright, well, she's all fixed. I think the only thing I want to do is maybe charge up the air conditioning here for the warm weather. Right now it is 66 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to be in the 70s. So, see if I got any Freon around and throw some in here and charge it up. Call it good. Because I think it's a little low. Like, I think the compressor kicks on and off, but it's, you know, low. So, you thought we were done with this video. Nah, we're not done yet. So, it is, I think, the 10th of April. Grass is starting to turn green. String being the 98 Caravan is out and about. And it is just about time to put Blondie, the 2000 Chrysler Grand Voyager SE, away for the summer. I say that because, well, this is designated as a winter driver for me. Not to say I won't pull it out once in a while and take it for a cruise. That's definitely not out of the question. But we're not done yet. So we did those wheel bearing hubs and all that, and it's nice and quiet. Albeit the brakes appear to be quite spongy. Now, I don't think they were the best brakes to begin with, but they seem particularly bad right now. So we've also got an ABS light on. I think that ABS module underneath the vehicle is dead, but it's worth investigating into. I would like to at least look at the brakes, make sure there's not a leaky line or something going on funny, you know. Look at it, see if we can get it fixed before we park it. That way we don't have to deal with it in the fall when I forget. And I think it needs one more car wash the rest of the whatever salt is on it and underneath it. And I think, well, honestly, I was going to say maybe it needed vacuumed out, but really, I kept it pretty clean. Yeah, she's actually not too bad. Alright, you guys are not going to believe this. So, I was playing underneath the car. I looked at all the brake lines. I looked at everything. And I didn't see any leaks. And the code is hydraulic pump circuit failure on this module. So, I was like, it's obviously, the damn pump is shot, right? Because it wouldn't do anything. You couldn't hear it do anything when you locked up the brakes. If you could even get them to lock up, they'd gotten pretty spongy. So I went and I priced one online, and literally the closest salvage yard actually has one. They tend to not have older model stuff anymore, but they have one on the shelf. So I was going to pick it up Monday. It being a weekend, I wasn't going to worry about it, right? So I was just about to go park this thing off to the side, and this is after I'd had a scanner hooked up to it. After, you know, I had looked at all the brakes and stuff. I even went under there and I unplugged the module just to look at the harness to make sure it was good, and it seemed okay to me. And lo and behold, I plugged the thing in earlier and I didn't think anything of it. But I was backing out of the driveway and I was like, for shits and grins, I locked up the brakes, and they actually locked up, and you know what I heard come on? The pump. I heard the ABS pump come on. And if you look at right now, we're driving down the road and there is no check engine light on at all. There's none. There is no light on. It's working again. So was it the plug? Was it actually the plug? That's actually kind of funny, because yeah, no, it's working again. So I can feel the pump engaging. The pedal is going to the floor as it engages though, so I do think there's some air in it. But here's the thing, to bleed an ABS pump, you have to trigger it. So I think doing this a couple times, bleeding the brakes, it might actually be fine. I was so ready to put another pump in it. I was like, there's no way unplugging it and plugging it back in. I should know better. I work in IT. I should know better. Like here, let's try locking them up on the highway. I mean, that's not bad. And the pedal right now is firm. It didn't trigger the ABS, so it didn't get all spongy. But it's not as good as it should be. I think maybe the rear brakes could use a little bit of adjustment, and maybe, like I said, I think we still need to bleed them again. It's back after turning the car off and back on after driving. Alright, got the van up in the garage this morning. Got all 4 tires off. Apparently Midas torqued those lug nuts to 1,000,000 foot-pounds. Those were not fun to get off in the front. But got all 4 brakes bled. There was a lot of air that came out of that one. A bunch came out of the other rear tire. I also adjusted those brakes. And the front right had some air. The front left was okay by the time I got to it, but should have all the air out of the brakes anyway. We'll get the tires back on and we'll see if it's any better. Alright, all 4 wheels back on. Believe it or not, I actually torqued the lug nuts to spec. 100 foot-pounds. That's about the same torque for every single Caravan there ever was, if you needed to know that. Beats the Midas 10,000,000 foot-pounds, so let's go take this thing for a test drive. Let's make sure the brakes work, and then I think that's about it for the year. I'm going to probably order that ABS module anyway and just have it, but if the brakes work, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, added a little bit of air to this tire, get it up to, I got them all to like 38 to 40. Well, three of the 4 were. This is the one that kind of has gone low, but it's not going flat now, so we'll have to keep an eye on that in storage. That way they're good to go for storage so they don't get flat spotted. And then right here on the center brake light, I had the center one out, and I think it was this one. They were burned out, so I just replaced them with new bulbs. So that's all good to go. So all the little minor maintenance stuff that needs to be done on this van so it's ready to go is done. So this van should be ready to get pulled out of storage, fresh coat of fluid film, and back on the road next winter. All right, here we go. Want to see if the ABS light comes on. Yep. That's sad. But do the brakes work? Oh, that pedal is rock solid. Nothing wrong with that brake pedal. So we still got that ABS control module to deal with. I think it's the circuit board, to be honest. If unplugging it, plugging it back in makes it work for a little bit. So it's probably a bad solder joint in that board or something like, something simple like that, but it locks up the brakes on gravel now. It wouldn't do that originally. Like I said, I think they've been getting bad. I don't know, somehow they got air in them. So we bled all that air out, and they seem fine now. So I'm not worried about it, whether or not the ABS works. I don't need ABS. I know how to drive a car without ABS. I prefer a vehicle without one because I can modulate the pedal. It's made for people like that, I don't know, maybe don't understand that they have to pump the brakes in, emergency situations. But yeah, this van stops like it should now. And I think that's going to do it for this episode on Blondie, the 2000 Chrysler Grand Voyager SE that we saved just about over a year ago now. And we've got, I think, 4,600 miles on this van that I put on over the summer and over this winter. This has been my main driver this winter because the 05's kind of needs some attention, to say the least. But now's the time, I think, to kind of park this thing up for the summer so we can pull some other fun rigs out and enjoy them. I think this one is going to go park in the spot where Turn Up the 93 Grand Voyager is. And we'll bring that home, get that thing kind of tuned up. I know it needs a little bit of work. Like I have a note wrote down for tie rods and struts. So we might get to do that on that van. But that's another day, another video, another time. So with that, I think I'm going to drive this thing off to its summer hibernation. And maybe we'll see it again yet this summer, but the AC didn't want to charge. I tried charging the AC and it just would not kick on. So, that kind of limits my options for summer drive, but not really. You roll the window down, it's all right. But I got cars that do have AC, like String Bean over there. The AC had a charge in it, 2 years of sitting. I just had to top it off a little bit, but, not too bad at all. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed the series on this Voyager, all the videos on it. I think she's going to stick around for at least a little while. I don't think it's going to get, significantly more rusty, even though I'm winter driving it, because it's super oiled up and everything. And it's kind of what it is, So I don't really see it going anywhere anytime soon. That being said, if any of you guys has to have this van or one of my other vans, always shoot me an email or whatever. Always got to make room for new stuff, right? So, Blondie here. We'll see you guys probably late this year and then into next year. And I'll see you guys next video. Alright, here we are. We made it. She's at 118, 747 miles with a trip of 4713 since we got it running and drove it off of the trailer. Not too bad. Turnip's out there running. She's good to go. That's gonna do it for old Blondie here. Just kind of rope the window. She's a big girl. This thing tight fit inside of this unit compared to Turnip. Turnip fits a lot better in here. With that, she's done.